Will FEG continue to drop after FEG X? Find out in this video. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Spencer Van. I'm very excited because today I'm going to be talking about FEG token and FEG X. And since the release of FEG X, today as we're recording this is April 4th. Since the release of FEG X, which has been now 4 days, consistently every single day, FEG has gone down and gone down and gone down and gone down. So I wanted to make a video talking about my thoughts on this, really just kind of talking about what I think about it, sharing some insight into you, talking about their plans for it, and whether I think we'll see another huge rise or if it's just going to continue to drop from here into eternity. That being said, if you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below, because once per month I do a free live stream where I give away some free mini courses. You want to get notified when that live stream happens so you could potentially win a mini course where I teach you how to make money, basically recovering money from other people with the government. So that's pretty awesome, but make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Of course, smash the like button, guys. With that being said, let's jump into today's topic. So as I mentioned earlier, since FEG X has released, we have literally seen day after day after day of a 10% drop, 5% drop, 5% drop, right? Consistently going down every single day for the last 3-4 days. And I wanted to talk about this and kind of give my personal insight. Now, I just want to make this clear. I have no affiliation with some of the FEG developers. I've talked to them on occasion, not the developers, but the marketing manager and some of the other people that work over there and help out with the project. And overall, I will say they're very nice people. Now, I will make a critique on the FEG people. And by the way, I own 125 trillion FEG, so just a heads up, okay? But I will make a critique. I obviously know a little bit about marketing, okay? Just for insight, I've personally spent over $1 million on YouTube advertising over the last 12 to 15 months. I think I know how to market, okay? I'm not a rookie, okay? I'm not a rookie, we'll put it that way. Long story short, I reached out and I said, hey guys, listen, I'm obviously a big holder. I believe in this project. I believe in what you guys are doing with this exchange. I wanna help you market this exchange. And I'm going to read to you guys the actual messages that I got in return here from this guy. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's kind of long, but I just said, hey, my name's Spencer. I got 125 FEG. I run a YouTube channel. I've spent a lot of money on YouTube ads. I know a lot about marketing. How can I help you guys free of charge? I just want to help you with this project. And then basically they came back and said, hey, the only way we can help us is with the marketing budget. If you could donate, that'd be great. I said, yeah, cool, man. I'm like, how much do you guys need? He's like, oh, we need 2.5 ETH. Oh, that's pretty standard. And then I say, cool, man. So what is this for? Like, what is the marketing, the budget for? Like, what are we gonna be spending on this budget? And basically, his plan to get FEG to sponsor an MMA fight in China, which I thought was a little weird. And then I realized it wasn't China. It was actually Poland. I thought it was China, but it's Poland. He wanted to sponsor an MMA fight in Poland. And I was like, gotcha, man. So just asked, why would you promote MMA versus just, maybe doing something more crypto related? That seems like a little bit of a more target market, Anyway, long story short, we had this whole conversation. He ended up having some reasons behind it, but moral of the story is, one of the first lessons you learn in marketing is to identify your target audience, okay? Seriously, every time I work with someone on their business, I say, cool, well, what's your customer avatar, right? Who are you targeting, right? Because if you don't know that, how are you gonna run any advertising to them, right? How are you gonna build anything for them? You don't even know who you're targeting, right? And I was a little concerned when he said, hey, we're gonna be going after MMA, okay? I brought up some other ideas. He said, we're actually already working on those. This is kind of just like our, free fall idea that we're just like, hey, let's just try it and see if it works. So that gave me a little bit more ease, but I will say I was a little concerned with that. If I can critique FEG a little bit, that's my critique. Now, to talk more specifically about FEG X, the actual exchange, here's why I think it went down. If you understand software companies and how software companies work, and even though this is a decentralized exchange, blah, 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 it is still a software product, obviously, right? So it still follows the same rules. The reality is that anytime you launch a software, it's never going to go perfect, okay? Most of the time there's going to be issues, especially in a scenario with FEG where, these guys felt extreme pressure to get this thing out immediately. I honestly think they would have been better served to launch it on April 30th than March 31st, because the reality is when they launched it, they had this whole timeline of 30 updates they're going to be doing basically every day, it seems like. of April. And so they're constantly updating this, which is great. I mean, it's awesome that they're updating it, but the reality is they should have just built the whole thing and then launched it, right? The reason why they didn't was because they made one of the biggest, most common mistakes I've seen with software companies and with just companies in general, which is they promise a date that they just can't keep, right? The reality is it just wasn't going to happen on March 31st. You guys gotta understand this project is 2 months old, right? It literally launched at the beginning of February, or end of January, beginning of February. So for them to, basically put this thing together in 2 months and make it, a Uniswap killer in 2 months, it's pretty damn difficult, right? That's not something that's easy. That's like saying, oh, I'm gonna build an Amazon killer in 2 months. It's just not gonna happen, right? It's not easy to do that, okay? So they would have been better served, I think, to wait an extra month. But again, I feel like they really couldn't do that because they kept saying, oh, middle of March. And once it got past that, the price already started going down. They felt pressured. We got to get this out. And so then they dropped it out. And honestly, the product as it is right now, it's not bad. It's not a bad product. It's just not, it's not what we want it to be yet. And again, I say we, now I'm speaking from the consumer side of owning FEG, right? It's not where it needs to be, rather, okay? It's not what it needs to be in order for it to be a Uniswap killer or a PancakeSwap killer. Now, the good news is this, if you look at the history of PancakeSwap, for example, when they dropped their token, it was, bounced around 50 cents, 70 cents, right? And then had a meteoric rise to $20, okay? In the span of like 30 days, right? Which is ridiculous, okay? And now they're sitting at around a $2 billion market cap. So if we follow that same trajectory, over 6 months, which is roughly how long the PancakeSwap token had been out, hypothetically, we could have a $2 billion market cap. Now, that's all hypothetical. Right now, we're bouncing around 30 to 50 million, but it could hypothetically go to 2 billion. And obviously, I'd be very happy with that. I mean, it'd be a pretty big success for me, so I'm good there. But, at the end of the day, that is still possible. And I think once FEGX is truly done, not what the state it's in now, but when it's truly done and has all the functionality that they've dropped in their timeline, I think at that point we will see a meteoric rise, because then at that point they're going to be advertising a lot more and all of that, right? So when should we expect this? I have built a software, okay, and I know how long it takes. I've worked with a lot of software companies. I've learned from a lot of software CEOs. I know how long it takes, okay? The reality is it's dependent on two things: how complex the project is, and number two is the strength of the team. Now, I've never met any of the devs. Okay, I've heard a lot about FEG rocks, right? But I've never met any of the devs. I believe they have 8 people. Could be wrong. I remember seeing someone say that in the Telegram chat that there's 8 people. But the flip side is, I do know that this project is somewhat complex, okay? So my best guess is they're trying to launch it by May 1st. I would add maybe 3 to 4 weeks to that. I would say June 1st is when we'll start to see the real FEGX released. In other words, I just don't think they're gonna hit all their timelines, because it's difficult to do that when you're launching, and I'll go through some of them here. April 5th, they're doing stacking. So today's April 4th, so that's tomorrow. They're launching stacking for FEG. April 7th through 9th, their initial liquidity. April 9th, pair expansion. By the way, the other thing too that's really interesting is, one of the key points I think we can take away from FEG and why it's been successful up to this point, look at how they're using their token, right? They're adding utility to it, right? Because when it dropped, people were like, oh, that's just a meme coin with, all these different weird, features on there, it burns and all this. But so one of the lessons we can learn from FEG, and it's really interesting about cryptocurrency, is even though FEG initially dropped, it was kind of a meme coin, right? It was just a coin, there's like 400 quadrillion coins or tokens, and a 2% burn rate, or 1% burn rate, 1% back to the holders, right? 2% tax. Even though that was the initial idea, and obviously that's still very well in existence, the reality is it's turned now into something that is actually somewhat utilitarian, right? There's some utility to it. And some of these partnerships that they've dropped, obviously with the FEG exchange, that's added some utility to it. And that's what I think makes these developers really smart. That's why I'm still placing my bets on these guys, because if you study some of the greatest software companies ever, right? For example, or at least some of the most innovative, you can argue whether they're the greatest or not, but some of the most innovative. A great example of a very innovative company for its time was PayPal. Now, not PayPal today, right? PayPal when it first came out in the 1990s, okay? It was very innovative. It was the first company to ever do what they did, right? And there was a point in time where their marketing plan, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was basically like, here, if you sign up for PayPal and you refer someone, you and that person both get like $10 or $20 or $50 or something like that, right? And that was their marketing plan, to try to build the network effect of people using PayPal. Well, that's great, but guess what happened? They blew up. Like, they literally blew up with hundreds of millions of users within the span of a few months. And I remember reading in their book that they were literally every single hour losing like $100,000 to $250,000 an hour, right? And just having to pay these fees, basically, right? And, you know, at the same time, they had like 1 million, 2 million users, and they had like 2 customer support people, like literally, like they were just taking like the phones. And then they had like 15 developers, and the developers were like Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, like it was just this crazy all-star team of developers. That's the way a lot of software company startups work, is they're just so talented in the tech, and they just know that if they have the best tech, they're gonna win, right? But the rest of it, the marketing, the customer service, the fulfillment, everything else is just crap, because they haven't had the chance to look at that yet. They've just been focused on the tech. And that's what I think is happening with FEG. They're super focused on this exchange. They want to make it really, really good. And that's why I think even as it stands right now, it's still pretty good, right? That I still believe in it, because I believe in what their vision is, and I believe in their tech. That's why I haven't sold, right? Now for you guys, you got to make that decision, right? Is this something you want to stick with for the next 6 months, 12 months, or is it something you want to get out now? I would recommend you stick around, but don't listen to me. Listen, everything I say is not financial advice. I'm a drunk baboon, blah, 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 blah. I always say this every video, right? Don't take anything I'm saying serious. This is entertainment purposes only. I'm just going to tell you what I would do, right? And what I would do is, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, which is I'm not going to sell, right? At least at this moment. Again, I believe in their vision enough. I believe in what they're doing enough. I've seen proof of concept. And even though I've had a weird interaction with their marketing manager over there, I still feel pretty good about it. And, you know, my understanding of software companies tells me that it's just they're so focused on the tech that they're not able to focus on these other aspects at this particular moment. Once the tech is done, or at least at a point where they feel like it's good to really scale, then their entire focus is going to be on marketing. So with that being said, hopefully this has brought some insight. I still believe in FEG. At one point, my 3K investment was like 183K or 184K. So I made 180K at one point, which is pretty awesome. Now it's dropped down a little bit. It's probably sitting around like 190 to 100 as it stands, which is pretty cool. But like I said, I don't really need the money anyway, so I'm gonna kind of just let it ride and see where we end up. So with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, comment down below, hit the like button down below, subscribe if you have not done so already, and of course, click the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video.